It killed 17 people in one night. All died exactly 12 hours after hearing its voice. Origin Protocol. Incident File 004. Entity Designation. Echo I-004. Classification. Echoclass Psychic Parasite. Danger Level. Active. Sector Vale Operational Area. First documented contact. County Cork, Ireland, 832 CE. The entity designated Banshee has maintained continuous operation for 1,192 years. 0 successful containment attempts on record. Current status. 17 active manifestations confirmed across Ireland and Scotland. Bridget O'Sullivan, age 28, weaver of fine wool. Mother of 3 children under 7 years old. Resident of Ballycotton Village, County Cork. October 15, 832 CE. Subject was tending her dying mother's bedside. Family records indicate normal health prior to incident. At approximately 2:47 a.m., subject reported hearing distant wailing outside the cottage window. Described the sound as a woman's voice, but wrong somehow. Too clear. Too knowing. Subject died of sudden cardiac failure at 2:47 p.m. the following day. Exactly 12 hours after auditory contact. Her mother, the original patient, recovered fully within hours of Bridget's death. Village records note. The wailing stopped when the young one passed. First documented case of grief transference, County Galway, 1847. 14 deaths during the potato famine. County Mayo, 1916. 8 fatalities following the Easter Rising. County Donegal, 1972. 11 deaths during sectarian violence. Consistent pattern observed across all incidents. Entity manifests during periods of community grief or trauma. Targets individuals already weakened by emotional distress. Always appears near dying or recently deceased. Auditory contact precedes victim death by exactly 12 hours. No variance recorded in this timeframe across 1,000 documented cases. Postmortem examinations reveal identical cause of death. Sudden cardiac arrhythmia. No underlying heart conditions present. Entity appears to accelerate natural death processes through unknown psychic mechanism. Each successful feeding strengthens subsequent manifestations. Belfast, Northern Ireland. August 15, 1998. Omagh bombing aftermath. 29 civilians killed in terrorist attack. Echo I-004 manifested at Royal Victoria Hospital. Multiple witnesses reported wailing sounds emanating from the trauma ward. Began at 11:23 p.m. in room containing most critically injured survivors. 17 patients died between 11:23 p.m. and 11:23 a.m. the following day. All deaths occurred exactly 12 hours after first exposure to the entity's vocalization. Medical staff reported no deterioration in patient conditions prior to sudden cardiac arrest. Security footage captured no visual anomalies. Only audio equipment registered the wailing sounds. Entity fed continuously for 12 hours. Each death amplified the next victim's exposure. The final victim, 8-year-old Sarah McKinney, was recovering from minor injuries. She should have survived. Echo I-004 classification. Psychic parasite formed from accumulated grief. Feeds exclusively on human emotional distress preceding death. Does not cause death directly. Accelerates existing dying processes through auditory psychic manipulation. Manifests as disembodied female voice. Always wails in traditional Irish keen pattern. Volume and clarity increase proportionally to victim's emotional vulnerability. Fatal flaw identified. Entity cannot distinguish between genuine grief and artificially induced emotional states. Requires minimum 12 hours to complete feeding cycle. Cannot interrupt this process once initiated. During feeding state, entity becomes temporarily vulnerable to psychic disruption. Origin protocol behavioral analysis indicates entity is compelled to complete each 12-hour cycle regardless of external threats. This compulsion overrides self-preservation instincts. Trinity College Dublin, March 3, 2019. Dr. Siobhan Walsh, Origin Protocol Psychic Research Division. Subject's terminally ill father admitted to hospice care. Echo I004 manifestation detected at 3:17 a.m. Dr. Walsh prepared countermeasures based on entity's fatal flaw. Administered controlled doses of synthetic grief hormones to herself. Artificially elevated emotional distress to maximum sustainable levels. Entity began feeding cycle as predicted. At 3:17 a.m., exactly 12 hours later, Dr. Walsh initiated psychic disruption protocol using modified electromagnetic field generator. Entity's compulsive feeding state prevented defensive response. Manifestation destabilized for 47 seconds. First successful disruption of feeding cycle on record. Entity retreated. Dr. Walsh's father died peacefully 6 hours later from natural causes. No accelerated death process observed. Origin Protocol Operation Keen Silence commenced September 2019. Protocol teams positioned at 17 active manifestation sites across Ireland and Scotland. Each team equipped with synthetic grief hormone dispensers and electromagnetic disruption devices. Simultaneous activation protocol initiated during peak manifestation period. All 17 active Echo I004 instances detected feeding simultaneously. Entity's compulsive 12-hour cycle prevented coordinated response or retreat. Sustained electromagnetic disruption maintained across all sites for 47 minutes. Entity manifestations destabilized progressively. Psychic feedback loop created between disrupted feeding cycles. Echo I004 collective consciousness fragmented under sustained assault. Primary manifestation node collapsed at 4:23 a.m., September 13, 2019. Remaining instances terminated within 17 minutes. Entity's own feeding compulsion became the mechanism of its destruction. No manifestations detected for 4 years, 2 months, 18 days. February 14, 2024. County Antrim, Northern Ireland. Emergency services responded to reports of wailing sounds near Belfast City Hospital. 2 patients died of sudden cardiac failure 12 hours after reported auditory contact. Psychic resonance patterns match Echo I004 signature. Investigation ongoing. Entity classification remains Echoclass. New manifestation exhibits identical behavioral patterns but demonstrates resistance to electromagnetic disruption. Adaptation rate: 4 years, 5 months. Previous containment protocols ineffective. Echo I004 appears to have reconstituted using residual psychic energy from its own destruction. The entity learned from its previous defeat. Current containment efforts suspended pending development of new countermeasures. Cross-reference. Echo S007 manifestation patterns suggest coordinated resurgence. File remains open. Cross-reference. Cross-reference Echo S007 manifestation patterns suggest coordinated Echoclass entity resurgence across sector veil. End of file.